Hi, welcome to my happy place. It's Tuesday night. We are back for another week, and tonight and the Spin and Echo 11, when I looked at it, I went, "Okay, what in the world am I going to do with this one?" Okay, Sarah's got something to say here this morning. Oh, she's just waiting for those comments. Okay. So anyway, Linda, hi. I noticed that you were here. Also Marcia. Kay Seitz is here too from Ashford, Connecticut. Welcome. Charlene Knoll from Colorado. Bonnie from St. John, New Brunswick? Is that what it's okay, Canada. I knew it was Canada. Hi, Debbie. Sarah's here too. And Nancy Gonzalez. And that's Lois from Delaware. Man, we've got everybody represented. Nancy Naylor, hey there from across town. Good to see you. Sherry Lord, oh, I'm sorry, Sherry Kenyon from Texas. You guys are going too fast. Arlie, nice to see you again as well. Okay, so I better get back to this so that you guys know what we're going to do tonight. So I opened up the Spin and Echo 11 and I looked at it and I went, okay, what can I do to make this last an hour? This is not going to last an hour. I probably could get done with this in maybe 10, 15 minutes to show you all how it's used. And yeah, I could. However, once I started working with it, I changed my mind. And it is interesting, Debbie. It really is. And hi, Jan. Good to see you again, too. So, what I did was I look at the directions like I always do. Okay. And I know a few of you had commented that on a lot of the spins, spinning wheels, spin and echo, the instructions are kind of generic. One kind of set of instructions was used for all of them. I did bring that up with Stacy. So that's something that we will be looking at this year. And who knows, maybe we'll be able to get some additional instructions built. Or maybe she'll ask me to do the additional instructions and I'll be busier than I am right now. So, one of the things that I found was really important is you need to do 32 rotations for a 16 rotation spin and echo. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Okay. First, let's take a quick look at this template. Is It is fun. It really is. What we've got here on this template is we have numbers and we have tacks. This is used to spin on a tack, hence spin and echo, right? So we've got 4 inches, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all the way up to 12 inches here. Okay. I'm sorry. Are getting some really, really horrible weather, and my dog does not like the thunder. So we're going to try and keep her under control or send her downstairs with daddy, one or the other. We're having some technical difficulties over here. You put us on the same YouTube. Okay, well, you can. We are having some technical difficulties. I just was told, so bear with us, please. Okay, so when you see the number next to the tack, the hole for the tack, that is how big the rotation is going to be. So this would be 4 inches, 6 inches, or 4 inches, 5, 6, 7, and onward. Now, when I first did this, like I said, normally I open the instructions and read them first. Well, today what I did was I opened the instructions, looked at them, but I missed the part that said I need 32 reference lines. And this is what I ended up with, which this actually looks pretty good if you're doing the smaller sizes. But if you start to get into the bigger sizes, you end up actually going into this real rounded off top, and it kind of acts like an outside curve. And we all know what happens with outside curves. We tend to fall off of them. I do anyway. I really do. So went back to the instructions and read that I need 32 reference lines. So I put more reference lines in and I started just drawing these out. I hope you guys can see these okay. Let us know if you can, okay? It can found a spider web. Yes, that is exactly what it looks like. This is the perfect template for a Halloween quilt. So I did an 8-inch, 9, 10, 11, and 12-inch. This is a very easy template to use, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Okay. So as I was working on it, and I'm just going to give you a quick preview of this. As I was working on this today, I noticed that I had other templates on my desk. So I said, let's incorporate some of those in there. So we're going to come back to this, and I am going to show you on an actual quilt block what I did with it. So here is my first quilt block with its 32 rotations. I am so hopeful that we are going to get our 16 reference, 16 point crosshair ruler into a larger size because, okay, that will come in real handy. Give her one of those. Sorry, we've got thunder boomers here that are going off. We're going to do our best, guys, to keep them quiet. I do apologize. There I go again. Yeah, I do happen to like those 32, don't I? Diane, hi, are you guys getting this storm up in Chancel? We're getting it horrible. And Diane from Queensland, welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. And Massachusetts is MA, right? Okay, Massachusetts. I thought so. Anyway, welcome, Sandy. Good to see you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on, let's put it on 6 inches. And the reason we need 32 reference lines is because we're going to start here and we're going to go around this inside curve and end here. Now that's the good news. This is all done on an inside curve, so it makes it really, really easy. We're not going to fall off of this. Now, if you wanted to, with this size, okay, you could go ahead and do 16 rotations and come from here all the way over to here. That would work. Let me show you what would happen if you do 12 inches though. You see, if you do 12 inches, this is on the 32 rotations or reference lines. You can go from here to here. But if you tried to do out here, it would not work. Okay, Ken. Oh, Terry, so good to see you. Are you back? I'm glad you made it. Ken has a question. Okay. How do I get 32 reference lines? Okay, that's a really great question. Actually, it is. And I'm going to just quickly show you. And I'm just going to take a piece of paper here and I'm going to throw it on. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on the black piece of paper because these lines will actually show up better. So I've got my 8-point crosshair ruler. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 8 points in. And you know how let me do this. There's no really great way of doing this. So I guess I'm just going to pretend I'm doing it. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move the camera a little bit here because I want you guys to be able to see this really well. Okay, so there we go with that. I'm going to turn this off so that it doesn't glare at you. So what I did was I put my 8 reference lines in. And then what I did was I rotated it, the 8-point crosshair ruler, and put the next 8. That equals 16. So then what we have is we have additional lines here. And that is this line, this line, this line, and this line. So now what I did was I came back and I lined up these lines onto the fabric. And that gave me, what's 8 times 3? 24, right, 24. And once I got that, then I just came back and split the difference again with this line. And that's 32. That's right. That's right. I will make a note, okay? And I will, oh, excuse me. I will go ahead and do a short video, 32 reference lines. And I'll go ahead and do that video on the YouTube channel, 906 Quilting YouTube channel. I don't think I have the ability to put it onto the So Steady channel, but I'll talk to Stacy about that. So does that help answer that question, Sandy? Hi, Kathy. Carolyn, good to see you. Dee's here too. Linda, always good to see you too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. I'm going to go ahead and put this in at 6 inches. And as I said, I could come and do the 6 inches if I had a 16 reference lines instead of 32. But I'm going to go ahead and do it as the instructions show with the 32. And now I've got to move myself back. I was going to just go ahead and do it without moving the camera back. We just got done with round 2 of the rain coming in sideways and thunder and lightning. Okay. I cannot loosen that. So we're going to be good like that, I think. Okay, first things first. Always pick up that bobbin thread, right? Oh, Sarah says we should be good for a while with the rain. Okay, see if I can. I can. Okay, can't get it. That's okay. We could just do it this way. There we go. It'll work. Thank you, though. Okay, got my bobbin thread up. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put this kind of sideways because I want you guys to be able to see a little bit of what I'm talking about. And I'm going to, there we go. You have your center line. And that is truly all it is a vertical center line. Each of the inch markers has a horizontal line. Granted, right now they're vertical because I'm holding the block sideways. Okay, I went ahead and pulled my thread up on reference line number 32. We are going to stitch over reference line 1 and stop at reference line 2. Take my 1 stitch in place and off we go. This is such an easy template. Okay, so now you see all I need to do is spin this template so that my vertical line now lines up on reference line 3. It will always, always I'm sorry, reference line 2, my center line will always line up with the next odd numbered reference line. Okay, so we're going to stitch from even numbered to even numbered, and we will be stitching over odd numbered reference lines. So we're on reference line 2, we go right over reference line 3, and we're going to stop at reference line 4 with the needle down, and now we're going to just go ahead and twist that template. You'll notice I did put staple tape on it. I tried it without staple tape. I found that I was kind of wobbling all over the place, and I did not want to do that. So there we go. We just went over reference line 5, and we stopped on 6. So now we're going to stitch over reference line 7, stopping on 8, and I'm just going to do a quarter of this. And we'll go one more time. So I'm on 8. We're going to stitch over 9 and stop on 10. And it really is that easy to do. So now at this particular point, if this were a block that I was using in a real quilt as opposed to a practice sandwich, I would go ahead and I would pull my threads and then I would bury them. Now to get the next size, that was that was our line number 6. And this is how we can tell. Okay, if I put it in 5, you'll notice it's got too much room there. If I put it in 6, it's going to give me just that 1/4 inch. And you can see what happens. I put it in 5 and I get 3/4 of an inch. The reason I'm getting 3/4 of an inch is because it's a 1/4 of an inch from my needle to the outside of my foot. So that's how that works. So we could come in and we can do an echo easily at 5 inches. We can do them back and forth any size we want, all the way up to 12 inches, which is a pretty good size actually. So I'm going to hold my threads again. There is probably more thread breaking and tying in than what we like to do. But you know what? It's really worth it to take your time, enjoy the journey. Tying in those threads, once you get used to it, it really does go quickly after you've done it a few thousand times. Okay, we're going to go 2 more. Again, remember, we're stitching from even reference line to even reference line, and we are stitching over the odd numbered reference lines. And that's just kind of a good way to remind us where we need to be, because 32 reference lines is a lot. It really is. And as I showed you before, we can do 16 reference lines, but only to a certain point, because then we run out of template. So this is how it's going to look on 32 reference lines. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to ignore every other reference line. I'm going to do this on 16 reference lines. Now, Sarah said we don't have any more bad weather coming in, but I'm telling you, that sky looks miserable out there. The radar says no. Let's hope she's right. So what I'm going to do here, you're always going to back up to get started. And what I mean by that is we're not going to start here and stitch to here and stop. We're going to start from the reference line before number 1. So this, in this case, I'm ignoring these. This would be reference line number 16. And I've got it on the number 6, or the 6-inch hole here. And here we're going to go. So this is 16, 1, and 2. We're always going to go, again, even numbered. We're going to stitch from even number to even number, ignoring that odd number. We're just going to stitch over the top of them. Okay, one stitch in place. And up we go. So for those of you who just absolutely do not want to draw 32 reference lines, yes, it can be done with 6. However, it can't go all the way out to 12 inches. Okay, so I'm going to line myself up. I really found I needed this stable tape. It does help a lot right there. Okay, so we're stitching over 3, reference line number 3, and we're going to stop at reference line number 4. And I'm going to do one more time. We're going to stitch over 5. I will end on reference line number 6. And this is about as big as you can go with 16 rotations. Okay, there we go. What do you think? That looks nice. That looks like it could be a swag, a curtain swag or something. I like that. So you see, it can be done. It's just a matter of how big you're going to make this circle, because that's what this design is. It's a circle when it's done, albeit kind of a weird size circle, but it is a circle. So now I'm going to come back like I did on the other side here, and I'm going to go to 5 inches. And again, starting on line number 16, and I'm going to pull my bobbin thread up. Always do that, even when I'm practicing. And I just want that to be habit for me. Okay, hold those threads up. Take my one stitch in place, and off we go. Going to start at number 16, and I'm going to stop at reference line number 2. I'm going to go ahead and twist my template. I'm on number 2. I'm going to cross number 3, and I'm going to end on number 4. Here we go. And we're going to go one more time. What I like is having this really nice, long, straight line running the vertical, the length of the video, or of, I'm sorry, of the template, because if it's off just a little bit, what'll happen is you will drop down on the beginning side, and you will come way further up on the ending side. So it's really important, in my estimation, to make sure you keep this straight vertical line nice and straight on your quilt block. And this will be the last one we're going to do on this side. And there you go. Same size, totally different look. That's kind of what I get from that. And it's a good thing. I mean, we want to do things individual and have it fit with the blocks that we're working on. So 32 rotations here. Yes. You know what? I think you're right, Charlene. I think I'm gonna have to order something tomorrow. The 32 point. I do have the 24, but not the 32. Thank you for mentioning that. And, you all you need to do is go to sewsteady.com. Under the search engine, type in 32 point crosshair ruler, and it should bring you right there, okay? Thank you for bringing that to our attention. This side is where I did these 16 rotations. This is the 5-inch and this is the 6-inch. 5-inch and 6-inch. So you could see side by side just how different they are, and yet they're the same. So that makes life quite interesting for us, and it makes life good for us. I like it when we can take the same thing, the same template, and do it in different ways. It makes it look really awesome. Now, oh, there we go. Okay. We got that deep thunder back. I apologize. Okay, so what I did here as I was playing, I had my stars out because I am also in the process right now of another Starry Night quilt, and we're doing embroidery and roller work together. And I thought to myself, well, what if I skip a number? And what if I incorporate another template in with the Spin and Echo 11? These points, I think, give us opportunity. So actually does the well or the low point give us opportunity. So we can do lots of different things. One of the things that I am going to show you is if you leave a big enough area in the center, how we can do a little different design with our star one from our Starry Night set, and this is it. Um, this is just simply taking our star one, manipulating it, and coming up with a totally different design. Kathy in Bliss, Michigan. Oh my goodness, I love that name, Bliss, Michigan. I'd like to live in Bliss. And we've got Matt, Hilda from Perth, Australia. Sandy, love your heart. Love it. Central Colorado, welcome, Gwen. It's good to see you. So, anyway, what I did here, and I'll explain it, but we're going to go ahead and do some of it. I did a 5-inch, 6-inch, and then an 8-inch. Now, my block here is actually probably too small to do that. So what I'll do is I'll do a 4-inch, a 5-inch, and a 7-inch, and we're going to go from there, okay? This is a 14-inch block that I'm working on. Normally, anybody who knows me knows that I normally work on 18-inch blocks. The reason I like the 18-inch blocks is you can always cut it down, but you can't make it bigger as a rule. So I've got my 32 reference lines here. Sorry, I need to wet my whistle just a bit. I have my Spin and Echo. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line it up. I am going to stitch from reference line 32 over to reference line 2. Remember, we always stitch from even numbered reference line to even numbered reference line, bypassing the odd number. I'm sure somebody out there is thinking this. If we bypass the odd number, why do we have to draw it in, right? Because I kind of questioned that myself today when I was looking at this. The reason that we need to draw it in is because we do need to have this line to line up on as we go around. Without it, we could be off just a hair either way. This way, it assures us that our stitching space from even to even numbered reference lines will remain stable. So I'm just going to quickly. The other thing, the other reason that I'm picking this small one is I want to show you that as you go out further, the design actually gets further emphasized. You're going to notice a bigger dip in it the further out we go. And that's because of the design of the template. It's rather flat here, and then it heads uphill on both sides. And we're going to go here, make sure we've got everything nice and straight. And I'm going to go one more time. Remember, we're stitching from even to even reference line, and we're skipping the odd number. The other thing, don't forget, you can take that extra half a stitch, do that hesitation at what would be considered the tips of those designs. So now I'm going to, that was number 5, right? Oh no, that was 4. So that was a 4-inch. So now I'm going to put the 5-inch in, and we're going to quickly do that. There we go. And this is kind of cool because you can do any variation of skipping these marks here or skipping the sizes. And we're going to come down one more time. There we go. Again, we're going to line up on the odd numbered line. We're going to stitch from even line to even line. Remember to make sure that your needle is securely in your fabric or your quilt square before you stop and take your hands off of the template. Or what can happen, and most likely will, is you can go ahead and accidentally do that. You don't want to do that. That happens. Don't ask me how I know that happens, but trust me, it does happen. Okay, so you always want to make sure you have control over that needle. Kind of like having control over your husband. That's always a good thing. Hopefully, Ken wasn't listening. Oh, he can't hear me anyway, right? Thanks, Sarah. Say what? Love him dearly. Sometimes I'm actually glad he does not wear his hearing aids. Okay, there we go. Especially when Sarah's here, because we tend to gang up on him just a little bit. Okay, so what I've done is I've skipped our 6-inch, and I've now moved down to 7 inches. So I am going to come in, and I'm going to start at my even numbered line. I've stopped at my odd numbered line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this template off. And I had all my templates sitting here very nicely waiting for me, and I knocked them over. Sarah's right. I did. I knocked them right over. This one that I'm going to use is the 1.5-inch star. Oh, there it is. I knew I had it here. The 1.5-inch star 1 from our Starry Night collection. Now, just because that's the one I'm using doesn't mean you have to use that. You can use any other template that you want. Number 4 spin effects would look nice with what the treatment that I'm going to show you next. Any of the Spinifex. What would really be cool is to use the mini Spinifex with this too. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to stitch towards the perimeter. And earlier what I did was I measured out some measurements here on my 12-inch arc. And again, you don't have to use a 12-inch arc, but it's just the one that's handiest for me. So I'm going from this line halfway through the next space. Here's one space at a half an inch and one space at a half an inch. I'm looking for a 3/4 inch space, so I'm going to go from this line to halfway through this line, and I use my handy dandy little arrows. Those things just come in handy all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to line up my little arrow with the line, and I'm going to line it up with the ruler. There we go. Now I know you can see really well. Okay, so my needle lines right up with that mark on my 12-inch arc. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch up, and I'm going to go to 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to take that off. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my star on. You can put your star either way. You can have it facing feet down, or you can have it facing head down. When I refer to these stars when I'm teaching, I think it's easier for everyone to understand. Here's our feet, here's our hands, and this is our head. I'm going to go ahead and put it head down. So I'm just going to make one simple rotation. And you all know that I don't stitch really, really fast. Actually, living in the UP, we don't do anything fast up here. We'll maybe eat bratwurst fast if we go to a Packer game, but that'll be about it. Okay, so off we go. And I have now completed that rotation. I'm going to, like I said before, make sure that this needle is well planted in my block. I'm going to now turn the block around just so it's easier for you all to see what I'm doing. I'm going to get my 12-inch arc back out. There we go. Get that fabric out of the way. Using. Okay, so there's my 1/4 inch. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch back to the high point on my Spin and Echo 11. And this is a 7-inch, so I'm going to line it up, and you'll see that we're exactly where we need to be. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist my template so that, let's back this up so we can see it better, so that my vertical line is lined up with my odd numbered reference point. Okay, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch from even reference line to even reference line, skipping over the odd one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to line up my 1-inch, the marked line. I'm going to use my spacing gauge. This time I'm going to come up a full inch. And remember what I said, from this edge line to this edge line is a 1/2 inch, and this edge line to this edge line is another 1/2 inch. So now I'm going to come up a full inch, And I'm going to just throw a little bit of a kind of just something in the way here for you to look at, for you to decide. Okay, I've got a simple oval. This is a 1.5 by 3-inch simple oval. All I am doing is I'm lining it up vertically. We're going to come up and around here. Remember, when we're doing a curve or an arc, we want our stitches to be a little smaller. Stop at the top. Remember now, this is an even numbered reference line. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my star back in. Whoops. And you know what I did? I've got the wrong star number out here. I had that basket, Sarah. The basket, please. Thank you. I was using it on something else and I put it away. Well, there's sometimes you just shouldn't put things away, right? So I'm going to make sure I've got my stable tape down. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. You know what else I think I'm going to do? I'm going to come down. Each of these etched lines is 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to come down 1/4 of an inch into the oval, and then I am going to go ahead and stitch one complete rotation of my 1-inch star. Would a 1.5 fit in here? Yes, it would. Okay, it definitely would. I wouldn't try a 2-inch because that won't fit, but a 1.5 inch will fit. And we're going to come back up to the top of the star point. And I love how these little stars have it's kind of like the Sashly tool where we can just go ahead and stitch a straight line and it puts us exactly where we want to be. And that's at the top of that oval. So now you'll notice I didn't put my gate back on because I'm now just going to flip it over in the opposite direction, and then I don't have to take the gate off and on each time I want to put the template off and on. And that is exactly why I'm so jealous of all of you who are getting your templates with needle channels. I love the needle channels. And again, going a little slower. And there we go, right back to where we put that 1-inch line. Switch over templates. Now this time I don't have to measure because it's already measured for me. Go here, come down here. There we go. And we're just going to stitch until we get to the tip of our spin and echo 11 rotation. And there we go, right there. Now I'm going to put my spin and echo back on the right side down, and it's going to be at 7 inches. And lining up, remember we want to line up this vertical line with the odd numbered rotation. So I'm going to go ahead and twist that template. And I'm going to stitch over to, yes, Ruth Ellen.
She noticed that you colored inside the star templates. What type of marker did you use?
Oh, that's a great question, Ruth Ellen. I used a regular old Sharpie. And what we did with our markers is we colored all of our 1-inch templates green, our 1.5 inch templates red, Our 2-inch templates, and I know I've got one here, but I just can't find it off the top. Oh, there it is. 2-inch with the black and the 2.5-inch with the blue. And you just take your Sharpie, run around it, let it dry real good. It won't come off on your fabric, but it will help you to make sure when you grab a template, it's the correct size. Matter of fact, I like this method so much that I've decided I will be using it as I make up new patterns that will go ahead and color the inside of our templates. And I think what I will do is remain consistent. And here's our 1-inch being green, and stick with Leonie's color scheme here. I hope that helps. If you have any questions beyond that, Ruthann, just please feel free to email me. Anybody who's got questions, I really want you to be definitely be comfortable. Go ahead, give me an email, give me a call, leave me a text, whichever. I'm always available to answer questions. And if I don't get back to you right now, or right as soon as I get it, I should say, it's because I've probably gone to spend some time with my husband and puppies, and I'll get back to you when I'm done. So, is that is that good? Good, Barbara. I like that you like that. Yeah, silver dolphin. Hi, you're back. Nice to see you again. It is. It's just a great tip. It really is. I know I've already done my hearts like that, and I think I've done my feathers like that too. Okay, so we're going to come and we're going to go one more time here.
That's
Oh, the fabric. You're talking these lines, I assume, my marked lines. I actually make these lines with the friction fine liner pen. And what this is it's heat erasable. So I take it and put a hot, not a huge, not hot like the hottest you've got, but a good hot iron on it, and it will remove these lines. There are some cautions though with this, okay? One caution is make sure you put down a layer or two of starch or starch alternative. I use Best Press most often. I also use Faultless spray starch and Niagara spray starch. I use anything in the pump. I don't like the aerosol containers. Of course, they're getting harder and harder to find too. The reason that we do that is because it lays a barrier between the ink and the fabric. Because what can happen, and I'm not going to say it can, it will happen. I've had it happen with so many of my pieces. If you don't lay that barrier down, when you iron this off, it's going to leave a ghost shadow. And a ghost shadow is just what it sounds like. It's just a white shadow where the line used to be. If you put that starch or starch alternative on between the fabric and the pen, you have a much better chance of not getting a ghost shadow. Now, the other thing is with these friction fine liners and pens, they have gel pens as well, and sometimes I use those depending. Um, what will happen when you wash it is it will disappear forever and for good and goodbye and never to be seen again. However, this is kind of one of my biggest cautions. If you're much better than me and you have quilts going to quilt shows and you're sending them by air across the country, the cold in the cargo hold of the plane will bring these marks back. I don't know why. I'm not a chemist, but I do know that it does happen. I did test the theory. I took some pieces of fabric with and some pieces of fabric without the spray starch. I put the fine liners and the gel pens on. I ironed them off. It looked really good. I didn't notice any really heavy duty ghost shadows. I took the fabric, put it in the freezer, left it overnight. The next morning, the marks were all still there. So it would be absolutely horrible if you got something to a show and they took it out of the package and all the lines were there. In that case, I would suggest using a different form of marking tool. There are a lot of them out there. There's air erase, there's water erase, there's, another way to do it, and this works well too. There is this. It's just a white plastic eraser from a big box store. And this comes in many different brands as well. All it is compressed chalk, and you need to use the eraser to get it off. They do come with these little erasers on the end. Man alive, you can go through these like nobody's business. Using one of these will last a lot longer. Mine right now are kind of dirty because I use them on paper as well. And you can see I just kind of rub my hands against the eraser, the dirt comes off, and there's no problem with it. Now, the other thing I want you to know is the Sharpie in here, if it's good and dry, will not come off on your fabric. That's why when I do the marking on the inside of my templates, I usually leave them overnight before I use them again. Does that help? Do you? You can't see the live chat. Are you on Facebook or are on YouTube? That might help us. Marcia, did that help you with your question as to how to get the lines removed? Good deal. Good. Probably more information than you wanted, right? Oh, anyway, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this again. And again, I'm going to go from even numbered reference line to even numbered reference line, fully ignoring that odd ball that's in the middle. And there we go. Take. Yay, team. Awesome. Oh, thank you, MJ. Appreciate that very much. So now we're going to come back and I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch again because what I'm doing is I'm going to be replicating this little design here using that spacing gauge. This spacing gauge is really, really an important tool. It comes in a whole bunch of different colors, so you could get them to match every outfit you own. Oh, don't tell my husband. I can't get away with anything, you guys. He's sitting across the table from me. He hears it all. Okay, here we go. We're just going to go nice and make sure when you do the stars, you go nice and slow around those cliffs. I call them cliffs. And the reason I like to call them cliffs is because they're easy to fall off of. And just take your time. When we first got the stars on the Starry Night, yeah, I struggled. I really had to practice it. And it's amazing. When I first started doing roller work, I didn't think I was going to be any good at it. Um, but it's just a matter of practicing. I think anyone can do it. You just have to be not driven, motivated. That's the word I'm looking for. And you will do it. Okay, again, making sure. And here we go. And I'm just going to come down here and do one more rotation because I need things to be symmetrical or it drives me crazy, but I do not have OCD, okay? contrary to what everybody who knows me will tell you, I really don't. I'm getting a lot of eye rolls from across the table right now. Okay, so here's just a little something different. I thought we should just try and incorporate a few different. I love it. I love it. And I love what this does to it. It really, really helps it along. Now, remember how I said it would be nice to have something in the center? I'm going to show you something I figured out today strictly by playing around. So, we're going to have a nice area in the center that we can use to make a design. I do put tape on the back when I'm demonstrating because oftentimes my tack falls out. And I just hate to spend my time on the floor looking for the tack instead of showing you guys what we can be doing with our tablets. Yeah, when I step on it, and that's usually about when I find it. Okay, now I've only practiced this once, okay? So please bear with me, but this is really cool. I love how this turned out. I'm using my number 1, my star 1, and I'm using the 2" because I have enough room in the center of this design. Oh goodness, there we go. I had a dog laying on my foot that whole time because he's terribly afraid of thunder. Okay, so he finally moved. I can move my foot again. Oh, yeah. We look like it looks like it's lightening up out there. Maybe we won't have any more of those little. Okay. Sarah says we got till 2 o'clock in the morning before another downpour. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I'm using my star 1, and this is the 2.5 or the 2" I'm sorry. And I could tell it's a 2" because it's got the black Sharpie around it. Okay, so I'm just going to make one rotation, and then we're going to break thread. The dreaded thread breaking, right? It's always so much better if we don't have to break thread and bury them. But alas, it's part of the process. Call it breaking thread? Baked bread. I guess if we call it baked bread, it won't sound so bad. Oh, I could use some good homemade baked bread right now. That's always a good thing. Yeah, it is a little warm to have the oven on. Okay, so, okay, well, we're not quite ready for that. So, oh, these girls, you guys won't let us forget. Oh, I'm sorry to see you go, Jan. Hopefully we'll meet you on the other side, okay? So what I've got here is I've got my star 1, and this is the 2". I did one rotation that way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to line it up. The way that I'm lining this up, and I hope this works, you guys, I really do. You'll see that I've got this little cliff in the center of his little hands. And these cliffs are going to be in the center of his legs. This, you see how we've got this horizontal mark here? You do need that single star point to go past that horizontal mark. And now I'm going to stitch this rotation, a complete rotation, and lift my bobbin thread up. There we go. And take my first stitch in place. And again, we want to make sure that we don't fall off of that cliff. gonna come down. Only a couple more points to go. I'm extremely nervous, just in case I don't get it right. If I don't, I know you guys will forgive me. Huh?
Dad.
And there it is. There is my new design with our number one star for the center. So this whole design here is just one that we can make. Okay. And I'm going to show you quickly here because I realize that it's time for us to say goodnight. But if you want to bear with me one more minute, we're going to show you how this looks on a quilt square. I did start this quilt square earlier today, and I was hoping we would get to it tonight. Sadly, I don't think we're going to get to do more on it. What I did was I did these 3 rotations of the Spin and Echo 11. I skipped one and did another rotation out here, and let me tell you what the sizes are here. Okay, so 4, 5, 6, and 8. Okay. I do have ghost shadows here. I don't think you can, no, you can't see them very well, but I did iron off right here and I do have some ghost shadows here. What I did up here was I used the star on each one of the points and I used my oval to kind of shelter them over the top. Truthfully, I don't care for it, the oval over the top, but that's okay. Somebody else may really like it, and that's good. And then in the corners, I just went ahead and I did my 32 rotations, only I kept it at, let's see, that would be 16, 8. 8 rotations here in a quarter. Yeah, there goes that math again, in the corner. Again, this is a really great template if you're doing Halloween quilts because it does make an awesome spider web. And I have that on a piece of paper here. There it is. I won't lose that. So there is a spider web. So I'm glad you guys like it. Thank you so much. Hi, Linda Smith Martindale. How are you? You got to eat supper. All right. I hope it was something really good. So that is what we have for you tonight. I hope that you found value in it, and I hope that you liked it, and I hope that we had a little fun along the way. So, are we ready for next week? Clamshells. I love clamshells. Oh, you guys, we are going to have so much fun next week. Okay. I'm going to show you some stuff with clamshells and we're just going to have a ball. Okay. So, do we have any questions? Oh, barbecued ribs with coleslaw. You know what, Linda? That's one of my very favorite meals right there. If you have any leftovers, I'll be there. Oh, Terry, you're welcome, and Pamela too. Oh, thank you, Silver Dolphin. I really appreciate you guys being here. Sandy, you know what? I get sad when the end of the class happens too. Now, there's something else that I can tell you guys. I haven't been able to do it till now. We're going to be doing another live series along with this one. We want to make sure that we have the The lives available for gals over in the Europe, Great Britain area. So we will be doing a live, and I'm not sure exactly when we're going to be starting, probably be a couple weeks yet, on Wednesday mornings, and it will be at 8 a.m. Central Time. That's 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain or 7 a.m. Mountain Time and 6 a.m. Pacific Time. So you'll get two chances to see us go live and see what we can do. And I hope maybe we'll see some of you there. It's going to be called Coffee Clutch and Quilting with Kathy. Can we get any more K sounds in there? I really, really appreciate you guys coming tonight. Again, thank you so much. And don't be afraid to like, subscribe, share. I forget to tell you that. I'm supposed to tell you that every week, but I don't remember. So, anyway, get a hold of me. You have any questions, be more than happy to help out. And, oh, yes, my daughter has now got me doing TikTok. I have not put any videos on it yet, but it will happen. So you can watch for that. Until we meet again, thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you next Tuesday. So until then, let's quilt.